I used to think I was broken, while everyone around me seemed to effortlessly command attention at parties, networking events, and social gatherings. I found myself retreating to quiet corners, observing rather than participating. I watched extroverts collect phone numbers like trophies, their loud laughter echoing through crowded rooms, and I convinced myself that being quiet meant being invisible. But then something unexpected happened that changed everything I thought I knew about attraction. What I discovered about the hidden power of introverts will shock you, and by the end of this video, you'll understand why the quietest person in the room might actually be the most magnetic. For years, our society has celebrated the loud, the bold, and the outgoing. We've been conditioned to believe that charisma equals volume, that leadership requires dominance, and that attraction is all about being the center of attention. The dating world seems designed for extroverts. Swipe right for the person with the biggest smile, the most adventurous photos, the loudest personality. But recent psychological research has uncovered something remarkable that challenges everything we've been taught about what makes someone truly attractive. Scientists have identified 7 distinct psychological traits that make introverts not just appealing, but irresistibly magnetic in ways that even the most charismatic extroverts struggle to match. The mystery factor that drives people wild. First reason introverts are incredibly attractive lies in their natural air of mystery. Think about it. When someone doesn't immediately reveal everything about themselves, when they speak less but say more, they create what psychologists call cognitive tension. This is the mental discomfort we feel when we want to know more about someone but can't easily access that information. Your brain literally becomes addicted to solving the puzzle of who this person really is. Extroverts, with their open book approach, often eliminate this tension within the first conversation. They tell you about their weekend plans, their relationship history, their career goals, and their deepest fears before the appetizer arrives. But introverts, they reveal themselves in layers, creating a psychological pull that keeps people coming back for more. Have you ever noticed how the quiet person at work becomes infinitely more interesting once you discover they're a published poet, or a black belt in martial arts, or speak 4 languages fluently? The authentic connection that penetrates souls. Second reason cuts deeper than surface-level attraction. Introverts form authentic connections that extroverts often struggle to achieve. While extroverts excel at building wide networks of acquaintances, introverts master the art of deep, meaningful relationships. They don't engage in small talk because it feels hollow to them. Instead, they wait for conversations that matter. When an introvert asks how you're doing, they actually want to know. When they listen, they're not planning their next witty response. They're fully present with you. This creates what psychologists call emotional intimacy, a rare commodity in our superficial, social media-driven world. People crave genuine connection more than ever, and introverts naturally provide the depth that extroverts often promise, but rarely deliver. But there's something even more powerful at play here. Something that speaks to our deepest psychological needs, the selective attention that makes you feel special. Here's where it gets really interesting. Introverts are highly selective about who they spend their time and energy with, and this selectivity is psychological gold. Think about basic economics. Scarcity increases value. When an extrovert pays attention to you, it feels good, but you know they're giving that same attention to dozens of other people. But when an introvert chooses to open up to you, to share their thoughts, to spend their precious alone time with you, it feels like winning the lottery. You become part of their carefully curated inner circle, a position that feels both exclusive and honored. This isn't manipulation, it's authentic preference. Introverts genuinely have limited social energy, so they invest it wisely in people who truly matter to them. The psychological impact is profound. You don't just feel liked, you feel chosen. And this feeling of being specially selected triggers powerful attraction mechanisms in the human brain that most people don't even realize exist. The quiet confidence that commands respect, the fourth reason, reveals perhaps the most attractive trait of all. Introverts possess a quiet confidence that speaks louder than any boastful declaration. While extroverts often feel the need to prove their worth through words and actions, introverts are comfortable enough with themselves to let their competence speak quietly. They don't need to be the loudest person in the meeting to have the best ideas. They don't need to dominate conversations to be remembered. This self-assurance without arrogance is incredibly attractive because it signals internal strength. Think about the most confident person you know. I bet they're not the one constantly talking about how confident they are. True confidence is quiet, steady, and unshakable, qualities that introverts naturally embody. But here's where the psychology gets really fascinating, and it explains why this quiet confidence is so much more attractive than the loud, performative confidence we see everywhere else. But here's the twist that even relationship experts miss. Introverts aren't just attractive despite being quiet, they're attractive because they're quiet. The very traits our society has labeled as weaknesses are actually evolutionary advantages that trigger deep, primal attraction responses. Research from the University of California reveals that in long-term relationship satisfaction studies, couples with at least one introverted partner report higher levels of emotional intimacy, better communication, and more stable relationships. The data shows something shocking. While extroverts might win at first impressions, introverts dominate in lasting attraction. This isn't just correlation, it's causation, rooted in fundamental human psychology, the listening superpower that heals hearts. The fifth reason introverts are magnetic is their exceptional listening ability. But not just any listening. Introverts practice what psychologists call active, empathetic listening, where they don't just hear words but absorb emotions, understand context, and respond with genuine insight. In a world where everyone is fighting to be heard, introverts offer something rare, the gift of being truly seen and understood. When you talk to an introvert, you're not competing for airtime or dealing with someone who's just waiting for their turn to speak. They ask follow-up questions that show they were actually processing what you said. They remember details from conversations weeks later. This level of attention is incredibly healing for people who are used to being overlooked or misunderstood, creating powerful emotional bonds that go far beyond surface-level attraction. The emotional intelligence that reads between lines. Ryzen 6 taps into introverts' superior emotional intelligence, their ability to read subtle cues that extroverts often miss entirely. Introverts are natural observers of human behavior. They notice when your smile doesn't reach your eyes, when your voice carries a hint of sadness, when your body language contradicts your words. This heightened sensitivity isn't just about being perceptive. It's about being responsive to others' emotional needs. They can sense when you need space, when you need comfort, when you need encouragement, often before you realize it yourself. This emotional attunement creates a sense of being understood on a deeper level, which is one of the strongest foundations for lasting attraction and love. The creative depth that sparks fascination, the seventh and final reason why introverts are irresistibly attractive, lies in their rich inner world and creative depth. While extroverts often seek stimulation from external sources, introverts have developed incredibly rich internal landscapes. They're the ones who notice beauty in small moments, who have deep thoughts about seemingly simple things, who can find wonder in everyday experiences. This inner richness translates into fascinating conversations, unique perspectives, and creative insights that can captivate others for hours. They're not just surface-level entertaining. They're genuinely interesting people with depth, complexity, and original thoughts. So here's what I learned. Being an introvert isn't a social disadvantage. It's a hidden superpower. While the world celebrates the loud and the bold, the real attraction happens in the quiet moments, the deep conversations, the authentic connections that introverts naturally create. You don't need to change who you are to be attractive. You need to embrace who you are. The right people will be drawn to your mystery, your authenticity, your selectivity, your quiet confidence, your listening ability, your emotional intelligence, and your creative depth. These aren't consolation prizes. They're the main event. If you're an introvert watching this, stop trying to be more extroverted. Start celebrating the magnetic qualities you already possess. If you're attracted to introverts, now you understand why. You're responding to genuine depth in a shallow world. The quiet revolution is happening, and introverts are leading it, one authentic connection at a time. Remember, in a world full of noise, silence is not just golden, it's absolutely magnetic.